Without further ado, to kick things off for the day, I would love to welcome to the stage Pagoda's Dio Ortega, who's going to talk to us all about onboarding Web2 users into Web3 with FastAuth. Let's give a round of applause for Dio, everybody.
Good morning. Welcome and thank you for waking up early to talk about onboarding. I know it's an exciting topic. You probably all heard a million times that we need to improve onboarding in Web3. Onboarding is broken. We need the next billion of users to come, and so we need to fix onboarding. So let's start with some self-reflection and see what a typical Web3 onboarding flow looks like today. So if you go to an app, let's assume you're on your phone because most of the traffic today is mobile. You check an app out, like it's a Web3 app, and it asks you to pick a wallet or choose a wallet or log in with a wallet. So basically, you see all these styles with a bunch of logos, a bunch of names you never heard of, and you have no idea where to start. So usually, people just pick the first one and trust that's a good choice. So you pick MetaMask. It asks you to download an app, which is a little sketchy because you just want to go to a website, but you still do it. Then it says, okay, I need to create a wallet for you. And people start creating a wallet. They still don't know what that means. And the next step is to write down a secret recovery phrase, which is kind of like a weird name for your seed phrase. And so people just kind of like grab a piece of paper without fully understanding what they're doing. They write a bunch of words. And then we ask them to repeat those words back. So basically, this starts looking like a test. I think I'm going to fail, but you kind of like keep going and start kind of like repeating back your seed phrase. Then before you can do anything on chain, as you know, you have to pay for gas. So the next step will be to onboard funds. So you have to pick a non-ramp solution that kind of like is compatible with your banks and your cards. Once again, you see a bunch of logos you never heard of, you never seen, and so you have to pick one. Usually people go with the first one, and then you still have to kind of like figure out how to pay for that gas and kind of like what payment method you're gonna choose. When you finally go back to the app, they ask you again to connect your wallet. So you connect your wallet, and you're finally, after 10 steps, you're ready to start signing messages and transactions, which most of the times they look something like this, a bunch of JSON, some code that people don't really understand. So that's a typical Web3 onboarding. Now let's compare it with Web2. Web2, 3 simple steps. You click sign up, you select something like sign with Google, and you're done. You can start trying the app right away. So how does this translate into numbers and metrics? So let's first talk about conversion rate. So conversion rate is the amount of people that end up creating accounts from the first screen of your app. It's pretty low for Web3. It's as low as 15 to 22%. Every time you ask people to kind of like write down a seed phrase and come up with a seed phrase, the number for an onboarding flow without seed phrase is 62%. So you're losing a lot of users just because you're asking for all this complexity right away. We should also talk about activation rate, which is the amount of users that end up submitting a transaction on chain from everyone that starts kind of like the onboarding flow. In here, we see an increase of 106% when we do gasless transactions. So this was an experiment run by Decentraland. They had kind of like an A/B test where some people were prompted to kind of like onboard funds and pay for gas, and the other ones could submit their first transaction for free. Of course, free always wins, and they saw a massive increase in activation rate. And the last one is the cost of acquisition. So how much money are we spending to acquire each new user, each new Web3 user? And here we see that cost of acquisition on Web3 are about 3 to 7 times higher than Web2, mostly because not a lot of people go through the entire funnel and not a lot of people get through the final steps. So we're basically losing money, losing users because onboarding is kind of like so complicated. So now I want to talk about FastAuth and why we think this is a much better solution for new users that are new to Web3. I'm going to talk about 3 main features. The first one we call zero-step onboarding. This basically means that if you have an existing user base in Web2, you can just create wallets for all of them instantaneously. You don't have to ask them to kind of like write down their seed phrase or anything like that. And so you have a much higher conversion rate because they don't need to do anything. They just need to log in and they'll have a Web3 wallet right away. Then users can also sign up and recover accounts with just an email address. So they don't need to back up anything to iCloud. They don't need, again, the seed phrase. And so this results in much lower customer support volume because, as you know, we have kind of like emails from users every day saying, I lost my seed phrase. I want my funds back. What can you do? And there's not a lot of things we can do. And the last one is gasless transactions. So we have a meta transaction relayer that basically allows us to pay for gas on behalf of the users, which means that their first on-chain transaction will be completely free. They don't have to onboard funds. They don't have to kind of like figure out on-ramps. And of course, if this all goes well, we see a much higher activation rate. Besides those three features, FastAuth is also free to use and it's open source, which is always pretty nice. This is what the experience looks like for the user. 3 easy steps. And you can try it today on near.org. You create your account with just an email, you verify your account, and then we ask you to create a passkey. So the next time you log in, you don't even need a password or an email verification. You can just scan your face, your fingertip, and you're into the app. So those are the 3 kind of like easy steps of FastAuth. Again, much higher conversion rates we've seen since we made this change on near.org. Now, because we're abstracting a lot of complexity away for new users, and of course that comes with some trade-offs in terms of control, we need to think deeply on who are we designing for and which type of users we are not prioritizing. And this is kind of like intentional, and you always have to prioritize groups of users. So for FastAuth specifically, the experience that I showed before, we're thinking about users that are new to Web3. Most of them, of course, or all of them are coming from Web2. They're also new users, so they don't have a wallet. If they already have a wallet, they'll be able to use it, of course. And they're mobile first because, as we know, most of the web traffic today is mobile. We're not prioritizing for this specific product Web3 power users. So all of you developers that have kind of like advanced use cases for wallets, and also users that are using hardware wallets, because again, that's the gold standard for self-custody. And if you have a certain amount of funds, or if you feel really nervous about kind of like where your assets are, hardware wallets are still the best solution, but they're not for everyone. I also want to talk a little bit about what we're working on right now. So we're working on a multi-chain version of FastAuth. So currently, FastAuth only works for apps transacting on Near, but you probably heard Ilya yesterday talk about account aggregation. So with FastAuth, we allow a user with one single account to control multiple addresses, multiple wallets in multiple chains. You just have to log in once, and you can kind of like own and manage assets on all the chains that are compatible. And your FastAuth account is still recoverable with just an email. So you don't lose access to any of those addresses in multiple chains. And we're also going to allow gasless transactions through something we call multi-chain relayers. So basically, we're going to have relayers on every single chain that we support. We're starting with EVM chains. And then users can submit transactions without paying for gas, just like they do today with regular FastAuth. The last one is the ability to offer restricted and trial accounts. So this is pretty handy if you're offering accounts for new users that can easily get into trouble. They can go to a website that is malicious. They can sign all their assets away. And so you're able to restrict certain transactions, like transfer the entire balance, and kind of like keep users out of trouble so they have a good, successful first experience in Web3. If you're interested in multi-chain FastAuth, I recommend that you check out David's talk. David is our engineering manager for FastAuth. He's going to be on this stage at 3 p.m. today, and he's going to talk a little bit about how multi-chain signatures work, and kind of like how multi-chain FastAuth works, and what kind of chains we aim to support, and functionality as well. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with is how to get started. The SDK for FastAuth is available today. It only works on Near for now, but we have a testnet release for multi-chain FastAuth planned for later this month. So definitely stay tuned. If you scan this QR code, you can go directly to the docs that have like a step-by-step guide on how to integrate it. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel also free to reach out to me after. And now I think we still have time for some questions. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions. I don't know if there's a microphone. Go ahead. Yeah, so today we only support Near. Multi-chain FastAuth, we're prioritizing EVMs. So we'll have a long list of EVMs that we support for the testnet release, yeah. Yeah. So the recovery is just with an email. So you get a link on your email, and then you recover access to your account. So we just check the email. Good question. So if you lost your device, most of the wallets as a service solutions today, you also lose kind of like the share of the key that is stored on the device. In our case, you can always recover with an email. So if you lost your device, if you have access to your email, you can still recover access to your account. So we just send you a link of confirmation, and then you get access. You create a new passkey, and it's kind of like available on your device. You talk about Near Wallet. Yeah, Near Wallet. So what we basically did with Near Wallet, we would send you an email that had kind of like your seed phrase. So whenever you wanted to recover, you would have to find that email, click on a link, and again, if you deleted that email, that specific email with your seed phrase, you would lose access. With FastAuth, it's different because we never send you the seed phrase for your email. We just recover through a decentralized MPC recovery service. And so you don't need to look for the original email, or it's also not very secure to have your seed phrase in an email in plain text. So it's different because you can recover through the MPC service instead of kind of like encoding in the email itself. Yeah, go ahead. Not today, but yeah, we're working on that functionality. So you'll be able to kind of like confirm your old email and then change to a new one. Oh, go ahead. Uh, can you talk a little bit more about the use case? So once you log in, especially on near.org, you can select if you log in with FastAuth or with a wallet. So FastAuth kind of like acts as a wallet, so you can still log in with a Meteor wallet if you'd like. Got it. So that's also a feature we're working on, which is kind of like a way to export a FastAuth account into kind of like a regular self-custody. So if you want, you can like graduate from a FastAuth account to a wallet. And we're working on a feature where you basically add a new full access key, and then you're just able to transact with your regular self-custody wallet and also FastAuth at the same time. Any other question? If not, back to you.